Inside this box, I have the forgotten Laceless boots because they came out in October, but you couldn't buy them until now. Great work, Umbro. What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new sort of Umbro Medusae 3 Elite, the laceless kangaroo leather option on offer from the Umbro brand that originally got unveiled and released back in October 2018. They were available in limited quantities at a hiked up price exclusively from Umbro, but several months later, you can finally get a pair. They have them now in the black color as well as this new white one for a retail price of $225, making it not only the forgotten laceless boot, but also the cheapest high-end one as well. So what I want to do in today's video is go over all the details of the Medusae 3 Elite that I happen to think looks really good in this white, teal, and orangey red colorway. And I also want to draw some comparisons to the other option you have in this category, the $275 Adidas Copa 19 Plus. So if you're looking to learn more about these, including how they fit and feel on feet, please stick around. And if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $225 retail price. By the way, if you guys do end up enjoying this video and perhaps want to see more reviews from some of the smaller brands, please support this one with a like. And if you're new here watching for the first time and don't want to miss out on future content from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification so you get notified when the next new video goes live. So there are three main elements that make up the Medusae 3 Elite. The kangaroo leather, which spans from the toe pretty much all the way through the midfoot towards the heel, and then as you get to the top of the midfoot, it transitions into a knitted material with some fuse on top and some fuse on the underside. There's really not any real stretch to this knitted component. It's there for the sake of show. And of course, it's laceless, obviously drawing a lot of comparisons to the Adidas Copa 19 Plus. So if they're that similar, what's better, the Copas or the Medusaes? And to be completely honest with you guys, they actually fit and feel very different from each other. The leather on the Copas, I would definitely argue, is way better quality. It's softer, it has more of a plush feel to it. It's definitely on the thinner side as well. And I think the overall fit and way that they've designed the Copa 19 Plus is just a lot more high-tech and streamlined. It just feels better to me. I like the way that this feels on my feet more so than the Medusae. However, the Medusae, for being a laceless boot, does actually fit decently well depending on your foot shape. I don't really have too many issues with the way that they feel, but there isn't as much stretch to the upper. And the leather, while good quality, it is still technically kangaroo leather and you do get more of it, definitely doesn't have the same overall softness as what you get from the Copas. Where you can't deny that the Umbros beat out the Copas, though, is in regards to weight, because believe it or not, and we'll get into this a little bit later, the Medusae 3 Elite is the lightest boot on the market right now by quite a large margin. So the kangaroo leather on the Medusae, just like the Copas, does not feature any kind of stitching as a reinforcement. Instead, what you'll find are basically these embossed lines to kind of imitate what we've seen from older Speciale models, but realistically, they're there just for the sake of cosmetics. They've served no purpose. The leather itself is left completely smooth, and like I said, it does soften up significantly as you wear it in and does have a softer feel overall, but for the most part, I wouldn't say that it's the most premium leather you'll find on a high-end pair of football boots. Internally, it's reinforced by what is a pretty rugged, kind of like nylon style mesh is the best way that I would describe it. And I found that while the upper does stretch on this boot, it doesn't overstretch. So it still feels relatively secure. Again, granted that they fit you properly, because as with any laceless boot, Umbro, Adidas, it does not matter because there's no way to adjust the tightness of the upper. It's very, very important that you, one, get the right size, and then two, just make sure that they fit you properly. This is one of those boots, as with anything laceless, that if you put them on and they just don't feel right, that's not going to get better over time. Moving to the rear, you'll find that this does feature a low-cut construction using a knitted material reinforced by fuse. You can see that in the glossy white areas around the outside. But then you have some exposed knitted material here across the top, as well as on either side of the ankle. That looks like it would be a stretchy element, but it's not, because on the underside, you'll find that there is extra reinforcement fused material. So there isn't really any stretch to any part of this upper. It's kind of just a solid shape that either fits your foot or it doesn't. As far as the other parts of the heel are concerned, it does feature a little bit of a pull tab, which I'm personally a big fan of. A little bit of extension along the edges, which is not uncommon, more of a cosmetic thing than anything. And then a heel liner that is kind of interesting, and something that we have seen from the Adidas brand in the past is that it's a synthetic suede material with these pretty significant kind of silicone grip dots running along the back to help hold your heel in place. One of the big issues that a lot of people have with laceless boots is that your heel can slip, given that they don't necessarily provide the same lockdown as something with a lacing system, because there's no way to really tighten the boot. Those little silicone dots definitely do their job in terms of gripping your socks, and I won't say that they 100% eliminate any kind of heel slippage, but they definitely do help. The insole is fully removable and pretty much as simple as it gets. A mesh liner on top and a single layer of this fairly thin white foam. Moving to the sole plate and stud pattern, you will find at the rear, attached directly to the sole plate, is kind of a miniature heel counter that does look very sprint frame-esque, but for the most part, it's just a very straightforward, relatively thin, lightweight plastic material that still feels remarkably solid and has decent flexibility to it. My only complaint in regards to the sole plate is this kind of micro dot texturing that they added basically from the midfoot forward that doesn't hurt the sole plate in any way. It just makes it very difficult to clean in that it kind of locks in dirt in between all of these little dots. More of an annoying thing than anything. As far as the stud pattern is concerned, it's a little bit quirky in that this is technically an FG stud pattern, but I would almost classify it as hard ground, mainly based on the studs just being so short. You have 4 bladed studs here at the heel, and then a combination of bladed and conical studs in the forefoot. So the traction is not an unusual layout in any way at all. I like the fact that they added a little bit of a toe pick stud, but you will find that if the ground is a little bit softer, the studs are on the short side and won't necessarily provide super aggressive traction. It's kind of laid out very speed boot-esque, but again, if you're looking for aggressive traction, this isn't necessarily going to provide that unless the surface you're playing on is a little bit harder. Which brings us to the weight that I would argue is the most impressive aspect of this particular boot. It is the first thing that you will notice when you hold them in your hands for the first time. In a size 9.5 US, the Medusae 3 Elite weighs in at a ridiculously lightweight 5.7 ounces, making it the lightest boot on the market right now by a long shot. That is a full ounce lighter than a Nike Mercurial Vapor 12 Elite or an X18.1. It is just super, super light. It's the first boot in a long time to remind me of the original F50 Adizero back from 2010 in regards to how light they feel in comparison to everything else. So if you're looking for the lightest possible feel, especially from a laceless product, you have found it. Something I forgot to mention earlier in the video is that they do include a shoehorn in the box to go along with the boots. Because they are laceless, they can be a little bit more tricky to put on, so if you need a little bit of help, that's why you get the shoehorn. I'm not going to use it though. I never use those things. So putting these on, pretty straightforward. The fact that they do give you a pull tab at the back definitely does help. I like to use both hands to put on one boot at a time, kind of slide my foot in this way, and then use my back thumb to kind of support the heel area, and then just kind of pull my foot in very slowly. It's not too bad. The opening's not the biggest in the world, and there's not a lot of stretch around this area. But for the most part, you shouldn't struggle too much. On feet, the Medusas feel good, but not amazing. And that to me is kind of the impression I get with a lot of laceless boots, in that they fit my feet decently well. They certainly don't look like they're overly sloppy, but they could definitely do with being a little bit tighter across the top of my foot. And I kind of feel like my heel isn't fully locked in, and that's simply because it isn't. There is still that little bit of stretch from this knitted area across the top of the foot, which is providing the majority of your lockdown, although those little grips in the heel liner are doing their part to help hold your heel in place. But like I said, it doesn't feel like it's truly secured inside of the boots. The leather feels good and definitely softens up as you wear them, and the boots as a whole have really good flexibility. So nothing really to complain about here in regards to comfort. It's really just going to be a matter of getting used to the way that they fit and feel. Speaking of fit, it's got some decent width to it, although if you have really wide feet, I don't necessarily think that these are going to be the best option for you. Laceless boots in general, probably not a great idea. Again, it just depends on what you want. If you like that super locked in sensation, I probably wouldn't go for these, but as long as you don't mind a boot that just fits snug and not overly tight, you probably will like the way that these fit and feel. As far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing these in my usual size 9.5 US, and the fit and length is pretty much perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair for yourself, I'd strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. So in conclusion, I have to say that the Medusae 3 Elite from Umbro is a very interesting proposition. It's a laceless boot, which means that the fit will vary from person to person. And for me personally, I'm not a huge fan of the way that they fit in general. I'd like them to be a little bit tighter, but they do make a laced variation of this boot, which I plan on reviewing very soon. So stay tuned to the channel for that. Either way, if you like the laceless thing and they fit you properly, I don't think you're gonna have any issues with that aspect of the boot. The kangaroo leather is decent, but certainly not anything mind-blowing, but once broken in, it does offer a really nice consistent touch on the ball. I like the fact that the majority of the upper is actually kangaroo leather. As far as the stud pattern is concerned, for hard ground, I think it's ideal. The ground is a little bit softer. It can be a little bit of an issue based on the length of the studs. But then there's the fact that these things are basically weightless. The lightest boot on the market by a long shot, and that is a type of feel that I think a lot of people miss about some of the older F50 models, some of the older Mercurial models that we're getting here from the Umbro Medusa 3 Elite that retails for $225, which is on the lower end of higher end boots these days. So it's a great value for money, if you want to call it that. It's a unique proposition. It's not a boot that I think is incredible as far as performance characteristics are concerned, but if everything that this boot has on offer interests you, I think you're gonna like them. And that's pretty much it for my review, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please support it with a like. And again, if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $225 retail price. If you have any questions, as always, leave them down below in the comments and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.